Hello everyone, this is Cathy Naiser with the Naiser Real Estate Group here at Keller Realty City View. Welcome to my KW Model 66-Day Challenge Thoughts and Questions. I'll discuss why I'm doing this 66-day challenge tomorrow on day 2 when I talk about the big why. But basically, I'm doing it for me and I'm doing it for you, my Keller City View agents, fellow agents. I wondered what I could do to help my mindset stay better and what I could do to help other agents in our market centers' mindsets stay better. I wondered what I could do that would help our team leader and management team really help get our agents going through this time, and what unique talents and gifts I had that would help that. So that's how this all came about. So feel free to share this video with other agents and feel free to watch every one. I'll be doing different models each day. So this 66-day challenge is a look at the models that come up in Gary Keller's books and in Keller Williams courses. So Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The One Thing, and The Shift we'll be looking at, as well as the courses Career Visioning and MAPS Models. So that's a new class. I've taken it twice, January and March. And once this COVID-19 thing works itself out and we go back to doing classes in person again, I highly suggest that you take that class in Austin. It is a real strong look at the models of Keller Williams, and more models than I will get into. So I'm doing only the models on classes that I've taken and that I understand or have a beginning of an understanding on. And that class, MAPS Models, Matt Teeter and Jeannie Osnes with MAPS Coaching do an amazing job with that, and again, I highly recommend it. So I'll review the model of the day and then give some thoughts and ask some questions that might help you really zone in on how you can improve your business. So this is all about 66 days powering through certainly this first part of the shift in a powerful way so that you end up in a good place at the end of it. So day 1 today is not an official model. I've not ever seen it drawn out anywhere, but it is a chapter in the Shift book, and it is the first tactic in the Shift book for a shifted market. Get real, get right, mindset, and action. So the gifts of the shift will help you shift during the shift and then after it's over. If you do what you need to do during a shift and you make it through, then doing those things in an unshifted market, I guess you could say, will only help your business more. The reality is the world changed on March 15th, 2020. Gary said that. He opened that video saying the world changed yesterday. We had been headed into a recession. The COVID-19 virus really took us there faster. And on March 15, 2020, the Federal Reserve dropped the interest rate to almost 0. Now, that's a really big thing. It may not feel like such a big thing right now, but it's a big thing. The last time the Federal Reserve did that was during the years of 2008 and 2010. That was when the market crashed, and it was known as the Great Recession. So we have two things going on right now. We have the COVID-19 that's requiring us to stay home or work from home or socially distance. It's changing our world. And we have a recession, and we don't know how all of this is going to be once the COVID-19 virus works itself out. Another reason I'm doing the 66-day challenge. So back in 2008, I was in business. In 2007, I went to Mega Camp. And I listened to this man on the stage I'd never heard before, Gary Keller. I was in awe, except he just scared me to death because he said, "Get ready, the change is coming." I had not been in business for very long. I was making some money, but not a lot, and I certainly had no idea what I was doing. He said, "Get all in or get out because it's not going to be pretty." Whoa. That was a scary thing for a new agent. I didn't know what I was doing. I walked out of that room and I went straight to the MAPS coaching booth and I hired a coach. Now at that time in history, it cost $1,000 a month. And yeah, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money. Nor, I had some business, but not a lot. Now, that was what I felt like I needed to do because I had no choices. I didn't have some other income. I retired from teaching because I had a hearing loss, but I wasn't going to get that for a very long time. And I didn't have any other sources of income. I either made this work or I went to work for Target, and I really didn't want to do that. And I knew I couldn't go back to teaching. So I had to make it work. And hiring a MAPS coach and digging into my business, I knew I had to do that. It wasn't easy during that time. It was not easy. I'm not lying. It was downright scary sometimes. But I plugged in. I took classes. I watched videos to keep my mindset right. I worked with my coach. I did my lead generation in a way I hadn't done before. One, because I learned through all the coaching and classes that I took. So that was real back then. And this is real now. The coronavirus and how it affects your business is real, and whatever's left over once we're done with this coronavirus is real too. So we need to get real, and we need to get it right. And I'm going to read you a couple of quotes from Gary Keller's book, just to start us off. So the first one, he says, when a market shifts, there's only one thing to do. Shift with it. In truth, there are two shifts you can make, a mental shift and an action shift. There's another quote. This is from Linda Alexander in Portland, Oregon. She says, agents must rethink, restructure, refresh, reorganize, reinvent every aspect of their business. The ostrich approach guarantees extinction. So my question to you here is, are you getting real with this? Are you sort of being like an ostrich right now? Gary says there are three types of people who emerge when a market shifts. First, those that fearfully predict the worst and are unnecessarily pessimistic, the Debbie Downers. Second, those who hopefully wish for the best and believe they can't fail and are unrealistically positive. The ones that are walking around saying, hey, it's going to be okay, we get some time with our kids. And then the third ones are those who respect the fact that they might fail, actively prepare for the worst, and strive for the best. One of the things Gary said Monday on his video, and if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It was sent out to you in email. One of the things he said was cut expenses now. It's one of the tactics of a shift market. Look at your own personal business or your own personal budget, cut back. What can you cut back? Cancel vacations. This year is going to be tough. It is. Can it be done? Yes. I've been in the business 15 years and I've started right before all that happened the last time. I know it can be done and I know you can do it too. I have another quote for you. You can't control the market, but you can control your outlook and response to the market. That's what we're talking about here, and get real. Get your mindset right. Acknowledge what's happening. Get your mindset in gear so that you can do what you need to do. So the question, what Gary says in the book, he talks actually about boats and high tides and low tides. So in the ocean, there are high tides and low tides. And all boats can float. If they don't have a hole in them, they can float on a high tide. Any captain can make that happen. It's not about being a great captain. Boats float on high tide. But when that low tide gets low, that captain, their actions, their responses, their instincts, those are critical. What they do to avoid that possible rock, what the water looks like there and where they ought to move, that's important. In real estate, we have high tides and low tides. Those are the markets. And lots of agents succeed in a high tide, in a high market. When the market gets low, every action is critical. So the first thing you have to do is get your mindset right. So how can you keep yourself motivated? What are you going to do to set up that for yourself? It's probably not the kind of thing you can just wait to say, oh, I need motivation today. What can you set up every day knowing that we're going into something here that is we've not seen. Maybe you've never seen. I've never seen the likes of this, even though I saw one before. How does your schedule look for working at home? Do you have a schedule for working at home? What do you need to do to create that schedule? What does your schedule need to look like and include? What kinds of activities and classes can you schedule to engage in to work from home and keep your mindset high? How's your mindset right now? What are you feeling? Who can help you be accountable to the plan for following your schedule and keeping your mindset high? What's the one thing you could do to raise your attitude today? Now the big question from the book, The One Thing, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? What's the one thing you could do to raise your attitude such that by doing it, everything else around your attitude becomes easier or unnecessary? What's the one thing? What would help you? And it's important to know what's necessary. Just like that captain needs to know what to do, what to watch for. So Gary says, be a low tider in your business. Structure your business right now for the low tide so that you can empower through the shift. And then when the shift goes and we get back to things good, maybe a few years from now, who knows? Your business will still do well because those things work all the time. Do you have a plan about what to do and what you're going to do right now? When can you set a time and set aside a time to make a plan? Who can help you with that? Do you have a coach? So he tells us that what worked before won't work now. We got to get it right. So what was working a month ago certainly isn't working right now during COVID-19 when we are at home and social distancing. How cool that we have a technology platform that allows us to interact with our clients even when we're sleeping. The system works for us, to market to them on Facebook, to send emails to them, to make phone calls, to document things, to have them on smart plans. How cool it is we have that right now. And I'll tell you what, people are looking at Facebook a lot more right now. And they're looking at their emails a lot more right now. I predict that people are going to answer the phone a lot more right now because they want to talk to somebody. They may even start talking to just regular recorded telemarketers. You can do that. However, is that the right thing right now? The best thing to do to actually get it? So Gary says in a shifting market, there's no margin for error. None. And the success in a shifted market is about finding the motivated buyers and sellers and converting them to an appointment. What kind of skills do you need to develop to be able to do that well? What kind of skills do you need to develop to have an amazing listing appointment, whether it's virtual or in person? Is that in your schedule? Practicing those scripts? How much would it help you to do your scripts? We all wonder now, so what's the right thing to do right now? And Gary says that's actually two questions. What is the right thing to do? And what must be done now? What must be done? I'm going to change that. He said, what must be done right? Like having my scripts really spot on. And what must be done now? Those are the two questions you can ask yourself. Now teams, Gary says to reevaluate who's doing what in a shifted market. You may have a bunch of players on your team, but Gary says the question is not who is going to do this or that, but the question is who will do it the best. And it may be that the team lead, the rainmaker, needs to be the one out front making the phone calls, need to be the one out front calling the database. Other people can call other people, the one calling the leads and responding to leads that come in. Maybe that needs to be the team lead now. Maybe the team lead is the best at it. So it's not about who does it, but who's the best at it. Because again, nothing is as critical as finding motivated buyers, motivated sellers, and converting them to an appointment. So is your schedule set up for 4 hours of lead gen? How can you improve your lead generation efforts immediately? What things need to be done right that you need to get better on? And what's your plan for doing that? What do you need to get set up to be able to lead generate from home well? And who can help you do that? Who can help you get your command contacts in order and get your contacts on smart plans? Your kids are not at school right now, and some of them are really good on technology. Could they help you with that? Who can help you? And who do you need to talk to so that you stay on track with your lead gen goals? That's a hard question. What happens if you don't get into right action? What happens if you don't get it right? What's the first thing you should change about what you've been doing from working at home? And that what's the one thing you could do in lead generation such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? I doubt that your database will mind calls right now where you're saying, hey, I really need to find people who need to sell now. Who do you know? Do you know anybody in that predicament? That even when there's a COVID-19, they need to sell. Will you let me know if you hear somebody? Who would mind doing that? They know what we're in. They know what's happening. And in all the lead gen actions that you have, what's the one thing that's most important for you right now? So this is day 1 of my KW Model 66-Day Challenge. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be putting these on the KW City View Facebook page. And we'll be reviewing, again, lots of models from Keller Williams and Gary Keller's books. If you have questions about MAPS coaching, call or email me. I'm happy to answer your questions and really refer you to somebody. I know some really good MAPS coaches. I have actually a couple of openings in my coaching schedule. So if you want to talk with me about that, we could do it out of closed transactions so that you're not having to pay money up front. But having somebody really think through what you're doing with you and ask you important questions right now, that's important. So if you have any questions about that, call me. And, you know, last week when I decided to do the 66-day challenge before the shift happened, I was thinking about how I'd end this first video. And my thought was to say, you know, thanks for watching my 66-day challenge. I'll see you tomorrow. Naiser out. And then click the computer like it was a spaceship or something. I decided this week to end it by saying, I hope to see you tomorrow on day 2. Naiser, all in. All in. And I hope you are too.